Listen. That's the city breathing as it drifts off. It never truly sleeps, just breathes slower, heavier. Neon takes the place of starlight, and screen glows light up. Countless eyes that can shoot. If you read one of them, if your thoughts are still racing down daytime tracks, refusing to pull over, then close your eyes. Tonight, we allow meet someone special, someone who carries a different kind of light in this concrete jungle. His name's Leo. He's the guy who mails Moonlight. Emma's world was all sharp lines, cold data, and never-ending deadlines. As an architect, she was great at designing spaces but totally lost when it came to her own life. Right now, 1:45 a.m., she stood by the floor-to-ceiling window of her 27th floor apartment, staring down at the sleepless city, lights from 10,000 homes scattered like stars on the ground, highways flowing like rivers of light. Beautiful, but it didn't feel like it had anything to do with her. Her insomnia was like a chronic work hazard. Her brain was a computer that wouldn't shut down. Background programs bootsy ng non-stop. Rejected design sketches, messy budget reports, next week's client presentation, credit card bills, utility payments. Her mom's endless calls pestering her to come home for dinner. These thoughts tangled into a cold, hissing current, zapping her nerves and making sleep feel like a distant myth. She'd tried counting sheep warm milk that way, too. Cheerful voice on the meditation app. Nothing worked. Her nights were like a blue print crammed with two does. No blank spaces left at all. Then the doorbell rang. A crisp ding-dong sharp and even a little spooky in the dead of night. Who'd hit up someone's door this late? A delivery. Takeout. She hadn't ordered Jack. A flicker of caution crossed her mind, but mostly she felt a numb kind of curiosity. She walked to the door and peeked through the peephole. Outside stood a guy in a neat uniform, holding a small, plain brown paper box. No trace of tiredness from working late. Instead, he had this weird calm about him. Most striking were his eyes. In the dim hallway light, they glinted with a faint silvery glow, like he was holding a pool of quiet moonlight. Emma hesitated, then unlocked the door. Miss Emma. His voice was warm and clear, not like he was crashing someone smitten. Go take a Pukagorinid sa signature. Cod. I didn't buy anything. Emma frowned. Doesn't have to be bought. He smiled softly, handing her the box and an old, school handwritten receipt. Sometimes, it just shows up. There was something reassuring, unshakable about his vibe. Emma found herself grabbing the box almost on autopilot. It was light, barely weighed a thing. On the receipt, the sender's line was blank. Only her name and address were there. The cost was a symbolic 1.00, and what she was paying for didn't feel like cash. It felt like a willingness to take it. She handed him a dollar coin. The guy, his name tag, said. Leo took it but didn't bounce. I'd open it now if I were you, Leo said quietly, his gaze landing on the exhaustion all over her face. It's fragile, and it doesn't last forever. Full of confusion, Emma tore off the wrapping and popped the lid. Inside was thick, soft padding wrapping a small, deep blue glass bottle. Looked like an old apple the carry jar, sealed with a cork. She held the bottle up to the light. In that second, she almost forgot to breathe. The bottle didn't save liquid or solid. It had a swirl of flowing, silvery light like the finest liquid pearls, or a captured wisp of smoke. It drifted and twisted gently against the glass, glowing with a soft, pure silver shine. It wasn't harsh, but it could cut through all the dark, lighting up the lines on her palm and a dusty corner of her heart she'd almost forgotten. It was moonlight. Pure, no city light garbage. Moonlight that only belongs to poems, fairy tales, and distant memories. What the hell is this? Emma's voice trembled with shock. It's a forgotten blank moment, Leo explained calmly, like he was talking about groceries. City lights are too bright. People are too busy chasing stuff, filling every second they've forgotten how to just be blank. Those moments that should be for daydreaming, staring out the window, doing absolutely nothing. They get stolen by overtime, bills, and being burnt out from social stuff. When they pile up, they become this. He nodded at the bottle of Moonlight. Just stand threatened. He made a soft pouring gesture. It'll help you get back a tiny bit of your own blank. Like opening a window in a crowded room to let some air in. Emma squeezed the small bottle tight. The cold glass warmed up fast against her palm. The moonlight inside seemed almost alive, pulsing gently under her touch. A huge longing hit her. A blank moment. A moment without plans, without stress, without anything I have to do. It was exactly the fix she'd been begging for. She should keep it all for herself. She needed it so bad. She walked to the huge floor-to-ceiling window, the city's noisy sea of light outside. She pulled out the cork. A cool, pure scent filled the air, like forest air after snow, or the smell of sitting in her childhood yard on summer nights. She lifted the bottle, ready to dump out all the moonlight. But in that split second she froze. She turned to look at Leo, still standing quiet by the door. His figure was half in hallway shadow, like he was part of the night. A thought hit her like a bolt. If Leo delivers Moonlight, who sent this bottle to her in the first place? A stranger, someone else lost in the night, who'd chosen to pass the light along. If she kept all the light for herself, would this little chain of kindness end with her? She stared down at the warm, glowing light in her hand, the back and forth in her head only lasted a second. A soft tap, stronger feeling, something like gentle connection made her decide. She tilted the bottle carefully, pouring out only half. That stream of silvery light flowed from the bottle, but instead of falling, it floated gently in the air, spreading into a thin, faint mist. It drifted toward the window, not going through the glass, but settling like the softest watercolor wash over the surface. Then magic happened. Looking through the mist, the city's stressful, competitive sea of light seemed to soften. Sharp edges blurred, harsh reds and blues mellowed out, and the whole scene became hazy, peaceful, even poetic. It didn't feel like a schedule pushing her to run anymore. It felt like a distant star map she could just watch. At the same time, a long-forgotten calm washed over her, like warm water through her VE. In all the noisy, bootsy NG thoughts in her brain seemed to get shut down by an invisible hand. She didn't remember anything specific, didn't forget any worries. They just didn't matter anymore. She stood there, staring out the window, her mind totally empty. It was a fancy, almost guilty blankness, but it was so beautiful. She felt tears stinging her eyes. She'd have found a perfect moment, one just for breathing. Then she turned, carefully putting the half-full bottle back into the small box and sealing it up. She walked to Leo and held out the box. Please. Her voice was wobbly with emotion, but her eyes were clearer and more sure than ever. Please send this to the next person. To whoever needs it most. Leo looked at her, and for the first time, a bright, warm smile spread across his face, full of approval and understanding. He took the box, like he was accepting a sacred mission. You got it. He nodded slightly. Good night, Ms. Emma. Sweet dreams. He turned and left, his footsteps fading toward the elevator. Emma closed the door and walked back to the living room. The moonlight missed on. The window was slowly fading, but that quiet, cool scent hung around. Her insomnia was untiefed overnight, and tomorrow she'd still have to deal with all her crap. But something was different. She didn't try to chase away all her tiredness anymore, or crave a perfect, wrinkle-free sleep. She accepted the weariness, just like she'd accepted the faint light from that half bottle of moonlight. She knew that, in some random corner of this huge city, a little light was keeping its journey going because of her. Hey you, have you ever felt like your time's being stolen? Like you can't find a blank space in your heart to breathe freely anymore? Remember Emma's choice, and the small gift this moonlight wants to give you. You dan thave to light up the whole night. Keeping a little glow for yourself is enough to let dreams grow. You can whisper this to yourself softly. Feel the lightness after sharing, and that tiny glow inside you. Now let the distant breathing of the city be your lullaby. Know that you dan thave to solve all problems. or light up all darkness. Just guard that small, precious light in your heart, slowly drifting into a peaceful sleep. Good night.